It's time to BS.
That would suck. That would suck so bad if that would absolutely suck so bad if we started recording and the camera just decided to crap out.
No, we don't want that. We don't.
No, we don't want to do that.
That's not the look that we're professionalism we're trying to portray. Right?
Oh, Kevin, for God's sakes, we are far from professional.
Well, I know we're on the rocks when it comes to that. So,
Kevin, you're more professional than all three of us here. Do you see the articles you put out every day?
I know.
Let's be real here for 5 minutes.
Okay.
You're a workhorse compared to the two of us.
Well, that puts me way at the bottom because you're a podcasting man. I
don't know about that one.
I thought the other day I was like, I should do a video game podcast with Staniel, and then I was like, he can't do anymore. He's got a lot of shows.
That's right.
Oh my God! I'm trying to start an Islander one. I'm trying to start an Islanders one, but I thought to myself
you got to break down that 30 for 30 documentary, the John Spano one, where he
big shot,
where he bought the team.
Oh
with
God!
Nothing.
Speaking of hockey, Dustin and I, you and I are going head to head.
I know, and I'm afraid of
Dallas and Edmonton. Dallas won.
Yeah, Dallas won.
Oh my God!
They closed it out. It's Ryan's fault. He put the stink on him. He put the stink on him because he said he was going to adopt the Jets since the Devils.
That's
lost.
right.
The curse of Ryan. Curse of Ryan McCarthy. Let's not get through that.
Yeah.
Let's not get through that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Didn't
God.
he say he was going to adopt him like a possum or something? And so that's never a good.
Can you imagine if Ryan actually had possums?
That
would actually fit his character when you think about it. Do you remember Over the Hedge?
Yes, I do remember.
Do you remember the possums from Over the Hedge?
I don't remember the movie.
That I do not recall. No.
So there were two possums in the movie Over the Hedge, and one of them was clearly trying to tackle his nature and be play dead. Always at the most random of times. And it was funny. It was just quirky and funny. It was one of those DreamWorks movies that shouldn't have worked, but it did. Because it was stupid and it was funny.
Yes.
Well, sometimes stupid and funny go in the same sentence.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do.
I forgot we've been recording for 2.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, this is
we're live.
I think the first word that got recorded is "this sucks" or something.
Yeah, it does. It does suck every now and then. Anyway, welcome to the Department of BS from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York. Hey, we have a ticker now. Look at that. Look at that crap.
Man.
And this is Seahawks Sessions, and I'm Staniel Smooth. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Staniel Smooth, at Time to BS Podcast, TikToks for clips at Staniel Smooth. From the capital region of Albany, New York, Dustin Henry from No Credentials Required.
I'm back. I missed the last episode. It's been too long since I sat in the chair with these.
You just sounded like
you
Eric Cartman
were
for 2 seconds.
conspicuously absent the last time that we discussed the Seahawks. So.
I know.
Oh, shit. You can follow me on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it at Eldoso67 from the great state of Texas and from Belly Up Fantasy Live. Kevin Wilson joins the party as per usual. Follow him on Twitter and X at KevinWills60. Dude, you'll see it. It's on the board. It's on the board. It's on there.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. It's been
a long 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah, we might be oxygen deprived already, so who knows what's going to happen next.
Dustin might be oxygen deprived because that man just laughs.
I do laugh. I laugh. I have to remember to mute my mic to avoid.
No, stop
it. Laughter is the best medicine.
This is true.
Laughter
is the best
absolutely
medicine. So last episode, Kevin and I broke down all. There was 11 draft picks.
I think it was 11.
I think it was 11 draft picks.
We dove in deep.
Well, I thank you for that because I knew a little bit of some of the prospects, but you just had everything written down.
Well, I try and do a little research, so
A little show prep. Yeah.
yeah.
No, you
so
guys
it's a little bit.
I listened to the episode, and I mean, I'm a little biased, but I thought it was a great breakdown. And also, I'm sad I missed the episode, but I also was sitting there thinking, I was like, as a person who doesn't watch college football, I don't know how much I can add to this. But I will say I was really happy with the Jalen Milroe pick.
I was happy with
Really
it too.
happy. And the fact that they traded up, that's the one thing
For the
I
Evan
got
Warry
right.
pick, yeah.
That's the one thing I got right for when Jackson
Yeah.
was breaking it down. I said, do you think they'll trade up uncharacteristically? They got a lot of picks, and they did. And I like that pick as well.
I wonder what he's thinking right now. I wonder what Jackson's thinking of right now after this draft. I gotta call him and be like, "Hey,
That's right.
buddy."
Yeah, if he's not happy, then I don't know. He needs to go to the back of the line. So
Jesus.
I thought it was a good draft. I thought it was a
It was
good
a
draft.
great draft.
and I was certainly relieved because I was live when they made the first pick, and they didn't
Grace
embarrass
Abel?
me. Yeah, they didn't embarrass me when they took somebody I'd never heard of before. So that was step one of that whole parade.
I mean, if
And,
it was like from I don't know, West Alabama State A&M,
Yeah.
or one of those like random deep ass schools that you
Sure.
see in like Idaho or some shit.
Or was it Jerry Rice? He was from was it Mississippi State, right?
Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mississippi
you got to
Valley
put the
State.
valley in there. That changes that whole complexion.
Yeah.
you
Who
know-
was from Alcorn State? Was that
That was
I think
Steve
that was
McNair,
Steve McNair.
I think.
Yeah, Steve McNair.
McNair, who if he had a couple more Pro Bowl or All Pro seasons, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
By far.
I loved Air McNair, man. I think I picked him on NCR for my favorite number 9. I think.
Yeah, what a great name, Aaron McNair.
It sucks
Yeah.
that what happened to him.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that's one of the saddest stories ever.
It's one of those like wrong place, wrong time, shitty situation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks, but like
Those of us who have been in the wrong relationships at one point or another in our lives, thank our lucky stars. That did nothing
for those
like that
listening, I
happened
have
to
my
us.
hand up.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say, podcast listeners, Mr. Smooth is raising his hand right now.
So, and so we are all three here alive that nothing like that occurred to us. So,
Yeah.
and
I'm
you watch,
grateful for that part.
yes, and you
On
true
my
crime
end especially.
shows, exist primarily because somebody broke up with somebody and then wound up in the bottom of a ditch somewhere, or and
boy.
none of that happened to the three of us. So I'm certainly pleased with that.
Yeah, look at my dumbass. I don't know if you can see. It's a silicone band.
No, you're
For those,
but
those
you're.
watching.
I've been following along, man. You've been posting. We are friends on the socials. We're
We
friends.
That's right.
We're
We
friends
are.
on the show and off. And I have been enjoying your status updates. And I'm also been thinking, you're one of the busiest dudes out there, man. I see you. You're working out at the gym. You're working. You got your
That's
day
right.
job.
And
you're
you're on the beach
podcasting.
with your girls, so you just don't ever know what's coming at us.
I try my best to keep busy as much as I can, but I'm self-aware enough to the point where I feel the burnout coming. I need to take a day off and just relax.
Yeah.
That's very important.
I'm looking forward to the season. We'll get into the schedule shortly
Yes.
here, we promise. But I love, and we'll figure out what day we're going to do the show during the season, all that kind of stuff. I think Fridays worked well, so I'll put a vote in for that. But I kind of like the pace of Seahawks sessions now. We do a show when stuff happens.
That's right.
Or when we have things to talk about. It's a leisurely
That's right.
pace.
We talk about stuff other than what's our favorite chocolate chip cookie. So
Yeah.
Ryan.
No, I love
I'm
the
kidding.
leisurely pace. And just to take it into one, Mr. Smooth, I know that you are a purveyor of the video games like I am right now. And
There we go.
if you're going to take a break, if you haven't played it yet, play Blueprints. Blueprints is awesome. I know you've probably heard about it. A lot of people have a lot of good things to say about it. Play Blueprints. My friends and I from Virginia, shout out to PlayStation Share Play. We've been playing. I'm probably going to try to sneak in around after the show before I have dinner plans tonight. So I am addicted to Blueprints. It is a puzzle game, but it's not like an infuriating one.
I've been playing a lot of Tomb Raider lately.
Okay.
The new trilogy.
The remaster? I haven't.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't played the remasters yet, but I have all of them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I'm a big Uncharted guy, so I imagine
it is very Uncharted-like.
Yeah, I gotta play those.
I want to get into Uncharted so bad because I don't know. Is it are the first 3 games available on PS4 by chance?
Yes, they are. They are part of a trilogy called the Nathan Drake Remastered Trilogy, and that is how I first played the games because I did not have a PS3. So you can get them.
I thought about getting a PS3, but I'm like, A lot of the games that I like, the only reason I would really get it is for God of War 3, but I have God of War 3 Remastered on PS4.
Yeah, no.
So it doesn't make any sense.
The only way I would get a PlayStation 3 at this point is probably to play Batman, the non-Rocksteady game. Which one was that? I can't remember. Arkham Origins.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, I would get it for Arkham Origins. But, before we glaze over everybody with our video game talks.
We do.
But play Blueprints, man. Play it.
I have a movie I've been trying to get into. I saw this movie called The Life List the other day.
Oh, what is that?
It's a Netflix film.
Well, that's the problem because I don't have Netflix anymore.
Yeah, you gave him the pink slip, didn't you, Kevin?
I did because I searched for after I watched Cobra Kai, which I enjoyed extraordinarily much.
Yeah.
And the movie comes out next weekend, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
That's right. So anyway, so once that ended, I was looking around like, I'm not paying $9 a month to watch nothing. So
well, that's why I have all my DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why I have all my DVDs. So
we still have DVDs present here.
I have some too. Yeah. But what's this movie on Netflix that you found you were talking about?
So it's called The Life List, and it's about a daughter whose mother is like the the owner of this high valued makeup company over in New York City.
Okay.
And her mother succumbs to cancer for a second time and then unfortunately passes away.
Oh, jeez.
And she was, the daughter was all about, what's his face? She was trying to, I'm trying to think of what the word is because my brain's fried right now.
And we're about to get into the schedule.
That's right. So unfry it.
Inheritance.
Okay.
She was trying to she was trying to find what her inheritance was, and the inheritance of the whole company goes to her daughter-in-law.
Oh,
which was like a what the hell situation.
Yeah, there was.
And then the lawyer who wrote the will for her mother gives the main character like a stack of DVDs, which in 2025 is like, artifacts at this point.
Right. You get 20 of them for, a stack of gum or.
Yeah, pretty much. I found a DVD for like $3 at a thrift store. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
It was The Notebook on Blu-ray. It was great.
Oh, okay.
So they go on, and it's like each DVD is a story of some kind. And at the end of one DVD, the first one, the mother goes, "You have this life list that you wrote down when you were 13 years old. My goal for you when I die is for you to complete this list. But you have until the new year to complete it." I'm like, wow.
1 year?
1 year.
Wow, okay.
So it's all like really big shit. It's like find true love, become a teacher, get a place where you love to like relax. And at the time she was with a shitty boyfriend, a self-centered asshole. It's a great movie. I was like, this doesn't suck.
I might have to check that out.
It's an emotional movie.
Oh,
it's
a
very emotional movie.
That's going to pull at my heartstrings for sure.
I will warn you, Dustin, because of what you fill in the blanks.
Yes.
It's you'll probably text me to go, "You suck for making me watch this movie." But yes, we do have to talk about some stuff.
Yes, we do.
We do have not a lot, but a little bit of crap to get to. We do have the Niners' eventual downfall is here.
You love it so much.
I love this.
You're like that. You're like that mantis from Family Guy. Good. That guy.
I'm like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Even
Oh
better.
yeah, excellent. Don't come after us, Matt Groening.
That's right.
Do you really honestly think Matt Groening would come after us? Let's be honest. Here.
No, he's got bigger fish to fry.
He's got time travel.
Yeah,
He's a time traveler. I'm willing to die on this hill. But we do have a couple trade rumors going around the NFL. One with the Seahawks and one with a certain team in the AFC North. The schedule, a couple draft picks have had a lot of hype surrounding them. And it should be a quick show, should be an easy show, but we'll try to drag this out for another 45 minutes to make it easy. Because let's be honest here, folks, we usually do.
yes.
Yeah, that should be no issue right there.
Went 15 minutes on movies, video games, and
That's right. And before we dive in, if I could add in one thing, The Accountant 1 and 2.
Great films.
Watch them.
Great
I'll check them out.
films.
Kevin, do you
Watch
know where? Did you watch those on DVD or did you watch them
No,
streaming?
we
somewhere?
actually went to the movies and saw Accountant 2.
Oh, okay.
Really?
And then we got home and The Accountant was on Prime and you didn't have to pay to watch it. So
Okay.
we participated in both movies in the same night and highly recommend it. And part 2, The Punisher, is running around much more prominently than he did in the first movie. And so I'm a Marvel guy, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
What do you think of the Fantastic Four coming out? The third edition of the Fantastic Four.
I'm a little uneasy.
It looks promising.
It does, and I don't know how you get Pedro Pascal to play a guy that goes by the name of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Whatever.
not too sure about that. And I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, here comes the Silver Surfer, and it's a girl.
So I can defend that.
Okay, I know that she's in the MCU or the Marvel comics, like for
She's
like
in
8
the
minutes.
comics.
Okay, but still, you're doing yourself no favors by not having the Silver Surfer in the movie.
She's not the actual Silver Surfer.
I understand
She
that.
is his wife, but I get it.
Yeah, that's
I
not,
get
you're-
it.
We're
You know-
turning into a comic book podcast now.
yeah. Marvel
Listen,
and
I'm a
Disney.
comic book junkie. I love this
I am
shit.
too. And Marvel
Okay.
and Disney just can't help themselves by putting out something that's
Tone deaf.
okay. They're tone deaf. Although I will say, Thunderbolts. I highly recommend it.
Thunderbolts was
Okay.
good. Thunderbolts was good.
All right. And so maybe they'll pull out of the spot. And the Daredevil series, by the way,
It was good.
was also good.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, made its return on Disney Plus, right? I think.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus, which the series that have been on there prior to that have been in the bottom of the toilet.
Oh, you didn't like the Netflix show?
It-
Well, they originally started
Netflix
out
is
on
different
Netflix.
though. Netflix, the series on Netflix were outstanding. All
Yeah,
of
I
it.
was going to
Even-
say I liked those. I watched Jessica Jones
Yeah,
and the
Even
Daredevil
Iron
one.
Fist, who got absolutely lambasted. I enjoyed that as well. So
Man,
Smiles in Star Wars.
here's the thing.
Star Wars is in the ditch, upside
Star
down.
Wars in Disney form has been in the ditch for some time.
Yeah,
has
but I
been.
still, I'll admit I still watch it sometimes. And people are saying Andor's really good. So what
Andor's fantastic.
yeah, I watched season 1. I don't have season 2 right now, or I don't have Disney Plus right now. So what I might do is just wait till season 2 is over, and then I'll buy the series on Prime and watch the whole thing.
Here's
all
what
over.
I recommend you do. If you're gonna watch any of the new Star
Yes.
Wars films, Rogue One
Yeah, Rogue One
by
is the bomb,
far,
dude.
So if you've played Halo Reach by chance,
I have not. I'm
Okay,
not
so
in,
you'll love this.
Yeah.
You will love the film. But as someone who has played Halo Reach and was downright addicted to that game, I kind of watched the film and was like, "This is very Halo Reach like, and I don't like it." It made me sad, but that's okay because it's still a good movie.
Yeah, I love Rogue One. It's my favorite of the new Star Wars movies, and it's written by Gary Whitta. Gary Whitta, he wrote Book of Eli, but he also is an avid gamer. He used to review games way back in the day. He's a cool dude. So I like
I
what
love
Gary
how
Whitta
this
did on
goes
that
from,
one.
hey, we're supposed to be talking about the schedule
I
too.
Yeah.
know.
We drift off to
Yes,
Nowhereville once
I drove the
again.
car off the cliff on this one. So
Oh yeah,
Blame Kevin.
that's
we
right.
all do it. We all do it.
Blame Kevin.
That's right. You know, you can.
It's fine.
I've got wide shoulders, so you can go ahead and do it.
That's Jesus. It's fine. But we do have a couple things to get to. We do have a massive contract that was announced over like the last week or so.
We
last
broke
few
that
days
story
or so.
live,
Yes.
Dustin, if you'll recall,
Yeah,
on Friday
no
night.
credentials on the happy hour version of no credentials required. Yeah.
So yes, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy and the team have agreed to a massive, and I mean, I was expecting this number to be higher.
I was too. I have to
So
admit.
I will give them credit and say, all right, they didn't want to become Dak Prescott, which good luck Dallas. But
yeah.
the Niners have signed Brock Purdy to a 5-year deal worth $265 million, which if we were to take this clip here, oh hey, technology. For those watching on YouTube, we have the actual details of the contract from Schefter and a tweet on here on YouTube. So yeah. Brock Purdy new deal includes $181 million in overall guaranteed money, which is a little lower than I thought it would be, but regardless, it's still a lot of money for a guy who has been above average.
Yes. Yes, he has.
Yeah, it's about
He is. He's $181 million.
180 million more than he was making a year ago.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Listen, I will not shit on the guy for being the last pick in the draft a couple years ago.
That's right.
I'm not going to shit on him for that.
Yeah.
No.
I will, however, shit on the guy who's coaching him in Kyle Shanahan, who, despite Mr. Purdy's skills and assets and talents, has not done shit. Kyle Shanahan. So we were waiting for this because also a week prior to this deal being announced, George Kittle got an extension.
Yes, George Kittle, but George Kittle is that was the thing, and I apologize to people. They're probably out there, but it's a rare breed that watch both of these shows. But Kevin and I talked about it a little bit on NCR, but we wanted to save our thoughts for Seahawks sessions because we knew this show was coming up. But the thing is, I don't know who Brock Purdy's going to throw to. George Kittle, you extend George Kittle, who is often injured, right?
Right.
George Kittle's great when he's healthy, but they traded Deebo Samuel to the Commanders. You had Jennings, who stepped up last year, but he's going to have to do that again if the Niners, because you just invested a ton of money in Purdy now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Purdy's been relatively healthy, except for those elbow issues that 49er fans are still clamoring. They're saying that's why we lost to the Eagles. But
no, the Eagles are just that much better than you.
Well, it was, the thing was, but it was sad to watch the 49ers in that game. They couldn't even do anything. They
rather enjoyed that. Personally.
I did too.
I'm a psychopath. I loved it.
They're off the ball because they had nothing else. But the thing is, you've got Christian McCaffrey struggled staying healthy. You've got more. You now have more money tied up in your quarterback, which had to happen. They had to extend Purdy, but it doesn't leave much for a lot of resources around Brock Purdy. So that's my only concern, because Brandon Ayuk, there were rumors that he was going to be let go as well or moved. And the thing is, he showed up out of shape last year, didn't he? He was overweight, out of
because
shape.
he wanted a new contract.
Yep. So as far as I know, nothing's changed with Ayuk. He could still have those same feelings, probably wants an extension.
By the way, they signed DeMarcus Robinson. They Ricky Pearsall's back after missing a few games. Trent Taylor's back also. So it's not like they have, oh my God, they have no talent at receiver, but they have talent there.
They have that much talent. Okay.
But when you signed Mac Jones to a 2-year contract, and then you do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy that says like, oh my God, John Lynch is a terrible GM. I would have, if you're that confident you're coaching, I would have let Purdy walk or trade him. Yeah. But at the same point, it's like, let's also be real here. We're not running the teams.
Yeah.
We're not. Let's also be real, especially me. Good God.
And I don't know how both of you feel, but I feel one of the best moves that John Lynch ever made, and I have to take my hat off to him for this, because most GMs would not do this. He admitted that he made a mistake with Trey Lance.
Yeah, I'll give him credit.
He came out and he's like, Purdy's got the job, and then they traded Trey Lance while Trey Lance still had some value. Most GMs would not do that with Trey Lance. Was a second overall pick, wasn't he? Third. My apologies.
Same vein. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But most GMs would have been like, oh, we picked this guy high. We got to hang on to him. We got to see, because most GMs don't want to admit that they're wrong. And John Lynch, basically, without saying it, came out and he was like, hey, we were wrong. So
yeah, we messed up here. So we're going to backtrack on that one. But Kevin, what do you think? Because I could go on a ramble how I've been excited about the Niners' downfall for months now.
Well, I can certainly get behind a 49ers downfall. No question about that. But I think the 49ers had to do this. They had to sign him. Otherwise, you've got Mac as your quarterback, and that's no solution whatsoever. It's not.
He has upside. I'll give him that.
Okay.
Not a lot, but it's there.
But, this is his third stop.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a reason why a quarterback makes a third stop when he's still this age. And so that's not an answer. I would have been happy if they let him walk. Because then the 49ers would be really in the back of the just get in the back of the van and shut up. And, but they didn't do that.
Time you said that today.
And this whole thing could come off the rails pretty fast for the 49ers. Depending, Christian McCaffrey, if he's not healthy, and that's a real concern. And like you said, Dustin, who they throwing to, okay? And so we talk about the schedule, we're going to get into that, but the 49ers have the easiest schedule of any team out there.
Oh, great.
So they've got a little buffer, except for the first game, which we'll certainly get into in a minute, I'm sure. But
the first and last, hopefully.
First and last of the game. Yeah, that's right. So they had to sign Brock Purdy. And he's had some bumps and bruises, of course, but he's shown he could be at the top of his game. And when he does that, he's an excellent quarterback. So, and he's still young, and they had to do this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This year, just a quick side note, because obviously, Captain Smooth, you've made it very obvious your thoughts on Kyle Shanahan. And I have to say, I kind of agree with you. He's a great offensive coordinator, but he makes coaching decisions late in games that are not good. And he also, his time management leaves something to be desired from time to time. So if the 49ers really go down the toilet this year, does Kyle Shanahan, do they decide to move on from Kyle Shanahan?
Hard to tell.
Yeah, that's real hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
Because he's got the reputation
He does.
being a guy who gets the job done. Now, whether that's an actual designation, but he's got the reputation.
He has the reputation of being a winner,
He
but
does.
not to the reputation of being a winner, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing that I struggle with. Because who was the OC of the Falcons when
Yeah, there you go.
when everything went down? And then you look at, yes, the 49ers have been good. They make the playoffs, they go, but his late season games, he doesn't have a good track record in there.
No, not at all. Not at all. But we do have a couple things to get to
Okay.
as well. We do have a couple rumors to address in terms of the trade department before
Okay.
we get to because we have two things we need to get to before we got to get the schedule. This may be quick, but regardless, we're going to take a quick break because, this show ain't free.
We do it.
We do it to ourselves. This show ain't free. So, Ryan, take it away. This show ain't free. So, time for some ads.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
Mandatory break because
That's
we
right.
got bills to pay.
That's right. And if I could
Yes.
say, if you use SeatGeek, which I highly recommend, don't use it to see Peter Gabriel. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Really?
That's right. He was awful.
Oh,
Peter
no.
Gabriel of all things?
Wow.
Awful.
Wow.
Absolutely the worst concert I have ever been to.
Kevin, would you say that your ears were hit with a sledgehammer when you saw that show?
That it was interesting because he played that song at
Or here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, it was on the tee, Stan.
It was
on
right
the
there. I will give you that. It was low-hanging fruit.
But so you were saying, Kevin, he played that
Jesus.
song.
he played the song and then took a break. We should have got up and walked out of there right there.
Oh, man.
And then he comes back. This is the most self-absorbed person I've ever been around, ever seen. The whole thing was about him, and he was the center of the universe. And then he sang these songs that could put you to sleep for about a week. Okay, and then he didn't play "Shock the Monkey," which is one of the great songs that he's done. Didn't play it, and I'm like, what the hell?
By the way, Peter Gabriel, the former frontman of Genesis before Phil
I was
Collins.
gonna
by
say,
the way.
before
Phil Collins. So there you go.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe.
And then he put out one. Well, he put out more than one, but one album which was solid, and I thought, well, okay, let's go check him out. And I used our code right there. Fortunately for me, I saved $20 on that because it would have been
there you go.
an even worse disaster. And went down there and they turned the lights off. It's not like if you go to an ELO show and there are lights going off all over the place to keep you engaged. It was awful. Okay, I'm sorry to report that Peter, if you're a fan of the show, I'm sorry. But you need me some adjustments. Okay.
Oh man,
late game adjustments, something like that. Jesus. Oh boy, so yeah, use promo code BellyUp
That's right.
Sports and all
It
caps.
does
You get
work.
20%.
It
does work.
I can attest to that. It does in fact work.
You get $20 off first purchase, SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. Do some stuff. So we do have a couple trade rumors to discuss. One of them is involving one of our guys, Kenneth Walker. This has been going around for months, even before free agency, before the draft, and it sort of has been amplified after the draft because if you recall, they did take a running back. Did Seattle in the 6th round, Damian Martinez from Miami? I think it was.
Trying to look up
I
the
think
round.
it was the 6th round from Miami. So
That might have been the 5th.
5th round. Okay.
Yeah, 5th or 6th round. Yeah, somewhere in there.
So
Which you don't derail your running back room for a 5th round draft pick. I'm just saying.
no, but here's the only reason I'm like, okay, I'm not for a trade of Kenneth Walker, but I'm not entirely against it either. And the only reason I'm not against it is because of the whole the giant ass running back room that they have, which they have. It's Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, McIntosh. Now Damian Martinez is there, and George Holani, who's in there also, was a rookie last season. So they got 5 half decent backs in an offense that is predominantly zone scheme to like downhill, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm willing to hold on to him until the trade deadline, and then if it comes out and says like, I don't know, if the Dolphins for some reason, okay, hey, we'll give you a 4th or a 3rd round pick for Kenneth Walker. What do you say? Because the Dolphins need a running back.
Well, that's funny because it seemed like they had like 18 of them not too long ago.
Yeah, Mostert's not there. HA's
Right.
still there.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like 2 other unknown guys.
Jeff Wilson, is
I think
he still
Jeff
there?
Wilson's still there. Give me a second. I'm going to check our.
Yeah, well, they had the former 49er duo of Mostert and Wilson in Miami for a couple
Alexander
years.
Madison still from the Vikings.
Wow.
He's new.
No.
Yeah, that's we
Don't
saw
do that
how it
to
worked out
yourself.
in Vegas
No.
last year for
Don't
him.
do that to yourself.
Jalen Wright, who's a 4th round pick last year, he's there, and former Seahawk tight end Farrell Brown's there.
Well,
So yay, whatever. But Devon A. Chain's their top guy. But here's the report right here. I'm going to put on there. Underrated Seahawks. This is from John Afrano of Sports Illustrated. One may not expect the Seahawks, who ranked 28th in rushing offense last season, to have some. They have a lot of depth. They do. Who is Kenneth Walker, 2022 Offensive Rookie of the Year finalist, is the leader of the running back core, but there's also Zach Charbonnet, 2nd round pick, Kenny McIntosh, and Damian Martinez. So this article came out a couple weeks ago, May 3rd, as we're recording. I'm not for it, but I'm not against a trade of Kenneth Walker, because the whole, not to say the whole Rashad Penny PTSD is coming back to bite me a little bit, but Chris Carson as well. But then I have to remind myself, oh yeah, Pete's not here to run the same dang running back into the ground.
Well, and it's also I
Carson.
feel like Chris Carson, he ran very hard. I think Seahawks fans are too forgettable about his tenure. It was better than you realize. If Chris Carson did not get that neck injury, you could make an argument that he would have played for more years and probably been good for more years. He was forced to retire because of that neck injury.
It sucks.
Yeah.
You can't mess around with necks, okay?
No.
You know? Because the whole rest of your body is attached to that, so you can't.
Yeah. You kind of need it. Kind of need it. And, I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I wanted to give somebody else the lead on this.
No, you're good.
But I am conflicted about this one because I can kind of see the logic behind it, right? Because Kenneth Walker is injured sometimes, and with the zone block, you're more educated about it. Both of you are probably more educated about it than me. I'm not as great with the X's and O's, but as I understand it, they're going to be looking for more of a downhill north-south running attack with this, and Charbonnet and McIntosh fit that bill. But the thing is, Kenneth Walker's talent, I think when he is healthy and on the field.
When he's healthy, he's their best offensive player.
Yes, you cannot now, especially with DK being gone and some of the, you cannot argue. Kenneth Walker is who the offense should revolve around.
Yes,
when healthy. So And they're finally addressing the offensive line, and they're changing the scheme. I feel like you don't get rid of Kenneth Walker right before you're about to make these changes. And what if he tears it up? Devil's advocate here, because you said hang on to him until the trade deadline. What if he absolutely tears it up to start the season? And then what do you do? Maybe you can get higher value for him, but I don't think you should move him at all.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you in that argument because they do have running back depth. Holani is still there. They did give him a tender. McIntosh could be the third guy. I'm really excited about Damian Martinez. I'm pumped about him. I saw a lot of tape from the University of Miami, and they got a couple Miami guys on here.
Yeah, because the tight end.
Oh, yeah.
Arroyo also.
Oh, yeah.
Which we were, Kevin, you and I were like, and then we recorded the episode and we were like, he's okay.
Yeah, he's better than okay when it comes to catching the football.
Yes.
But he is not a blocking tight end.
No, not
at all. Okay. So that's not going to help your running game. So
no, but like it's the Walker news to me, it's kind of like maybe it's John Schneider going, I don't want to pay him a lot of money, but at the same because of the Chris Carson PTSD or the Rashad Penny PTSD or Thomas Rawls.
Yeah, Rawls.
Rawls was a big one because Rawls got hurt
Thomas
fast.
Rawls. Yeah, I did.
Before Thomas Rawls broke his ankle, he was solid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have 4 good running backs. It really doesn't.
I'm absolutely opposed to any maneuvers with Kenneth Walker.
Agreed.
You can never have enough running backs, and running backs are back in vogue in the NFL.
Yeah.
After, they would take 6th and 7th round picks. Saquon Barkley put a stop to that.
And Alshon Jenti, too.
That's right. That's right.
Ashton Jenti.
Ashton Jenti, yeah.
And so you can't have enough running backs. I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a healthy year. And we all like Charbonnet, I'm sure. But Kenneth Walker is a much better running back than him. And you don't want to do a maneuver, especially because the draft is over. Okay? We're getting ready to get into the camps and everything. You don't make a move at this point. You don't do it.
You don't. What does help him also is also the running back depth.
That's
because
right.
You can get the rotation of the other 4 guys in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Kenneth Walker. You have to rush for 1,500 yards. No, you can rush for 800, 900, and the other guys can run for 600 each.
Right.
And you'll still have an effective offense.
That's right. And he could catch, if he's on the field less, but I think his touchdown numbers will increase. And so don't be, messing with, put the wrenches away and stop messing with the engine at this point. Just make sure it's got oil and let it roll.
Yeah.
What does help is that in 11 games Walker played last season, he had 7 touchdowns and over 500 yards of offense. Well, it's not bad.
No, it's not. And he's shown, because I would argue, okay, Charbonnet is he's a bruising running back, north-south. McIntosh, I haven't watched enough. I would have to go back and review some of the stuff. But
he's fast.
He's fast, but it seems like he is also more of a north-south runner. Kenneth Walker is the one that has proven that when healthy, he can create when the line, isn't holding up so well. So to me, you don't get rid of that. And also, ironically, the one coach who I would entertain a Kenneth Walker trade with just drafted Ashton Jeanty because
that's the other one. Yeah.
That Pete loves Kenneth Walker. He was here when he drafted him. So you could probably get a little bit more from the Raiders for Kenneth Walker, but they just drafted Ashton Jeanty, who is the perfect pick for them and probably what Pete wants to do. So that kind of takes it off the table a bit.
Yeah. Hard to say. It's really hard to say, guys.
Well, I say it's not hard to say. Just leave it alone at present.
Yeah.
Especially since I have an article coming out where I named Kenneth Walker one of my top 15 dynasty running backs. So
There you
don't mess
go.
with that Seahawks. Okay? Don't
Go
do it.
check that out on
do.
bellyupsports.com.
It'll come out later today at some point. So
We
Just a
do
little-
have a massive trade discussion going on. So over in the AFC North, the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been up and down, to put it kindly, on defense,
that's
also
way
Mike-
too gentle of a description to me.
and also Mike Brown, who is a cheap SOB.
Okay, that's
put it
not
kindly,
gentle, but true.
Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals has all but requested a trade from Cincinnati. This was a few days ago. Oh, geez, I gotta change that. There we go.
There we go.
Trey Hendrickson, statement on ESPN: no communication has taken place between my camp and the organization post-draft. The offers prior to the draft did not reflect the vision we shared and we were promised last offseason if I continue to play at a high level. Coaches are aware of these past conversations. Rather than using collaboration to get us to a point to bring me home to the team, they are no longer communicating. Oh boy. I have been eagerly awaiting a resolution of this situation, but that's hard to do when there's no discussion and an evident lack of interest in reaching mutual goals. Yeah.
Yikes.
So he has all but requested a trade a second time from Cincinnati. Hendrickson, by the way, for those keeping track on the statistical purposes, he is one of 4 players in the last 5 years to average 12 or more sacks. It's him, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett. That's it.
Man.
That's it. He had 17 and a half sacks last season.
17 and a half on a defense that was awful. Take him out, and they're giving up 40 points a game.
So, what? And I was wrong about the whole averaging 12 sacks. He had 8 sacks a couple years ago because he was hurt, but he was on pace to have 15 plus. Man. So for a guy who, by the way, do you guys know what his contract is by chance?
I do not.
How much do you think Trey Hendrickson is making this season?
Oh, I have no idea.
Allow me to show you.
Okay, bring it.
He's making $15.8 million.
Okay.
And by the way, this is after Myles Garrett got $40 million. Now, we can argue about contracts in the NFL for hours.
Yes.
Yeah,
but the fact that he's
don't turn it off because we won't do that.
But the fact that Trey Hendrickson's one of 4 guys to basically average 10 or more sacks a season for the last 5 years is only making that much is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. That the Bengals, who prioritized Jamar Chase and T. Higgins over this guy, who was essentially their entire defense.
He was. That defense was a turnstile.
He's in their entire defense. So
I thought you were going to say, Dustin, it was a turd. Which
it was a turd. It was a turd. It was. Good fill in there, Kevin. So I offer you guys this question. Amidst the reports of Hendrickson basically on his way out from the Queen City of Cincinnati, could the Seahawks make a trade for Trey Hendrickson? Now, I will offer you this. The last time a Seahawks player had even close to 15 sacks was
Frank Clark, right?
Frank Clark, 2018.
I was going to say that's got to be almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Frank Clark, 2018, was the last Seahawks player to eclipse 13 sacks. But after that, it was Jamal Adams, who had 10. But then it was 9.5, 8.5, Carlos Dunlap here and there.
Yeah.
Which is why that one of the needs going into that draft was pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, What would you give up, Kevin, if you were John Schneider and you pull a Mr. Burns and you go, excellent. Because he's not gonna be cheap
No.
in terms of a contract, but in terms of the trade discussion, he might be.
I'd probably say, okay, hey, I'll give you a first, a third, and maybe another third.
He's gonna get a first round pick.
Absolutely.
He's gonna get a first round pick.
Yeah.
He's
So
too
give
dang
him your
good to not get a
first. You
first
give
round
him a
pick.
third and a third next year because you're not worried about the year after that.
Yeah. Dustin, what about you?
I like what Kevin said with the caveat. If they wanted to sweeten it, you give them a first and a third in next year's draft, and then you give them a second the year after that. If they're looking for more to try to sweeten it up, but I would, because he's not going to be cheap, as you put, in more ways than one. I mean, he was the sack leader last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
In the NFL. And
I think he was. Give me a second. Hold on.
And he's watching the news. I use this example all the time, but I remember in that documentary, This Magic Moment, Shaq was good. He had numbers in place that would have him stay in Orlando. Then ESPN broke the news and he saw how much Alonzo Mourning got from the Heat. And he basically said, hey, no disrespect to Zoe, but I'm better than that guy.
Way
got that
better
much.
than Alonzo Mourning.
Anytime you say no disrespect,
Yeah.
you know what's coming.
Yeah. So he called his agent and he said, we want more. You best believe that Trey Hendrickson has been in communication and saying, hey, Myles Garrett got this much from the Browns. The Bengals are paying me this. I need more. And
by the way, Trey Hendrickson is the sack leader for 2024 with 17 and a half.
Okay, so
that's a feather in his cap. And,
it is.
And do you think I'm rusty on his age? I don't know how old he is.
He is, says on the contract, 31.
Okay.
So there be, seeing as how he's 31, no second round picks are going to be in my package.
Yeah. That's, I didn't realize he was quite that old. So I mean, I think a first and 2/3, one in this year. I think you hit it on the head, Kevin. It's good enough of an offer to entice the Bengals, but the thing is, then we have to wonder. He's going to want an extension after
he's
a deal
going to get
done.
it.
Yeah,
right. You don't make that trade unless you've got something already, under the door or, in the back of the room or however you do that. You don't make that trade unless you've got, you're going to get them signed and done. And if not, then you don't make this trade.
Yeah. And I do think, I mean, the Seahawks have been aggressive in clearing cap space.
They have.
And we've been saying, what are they going to do with this cap space? And also, when we've talked about it before, the Darnold deal, it could be done after 1 year if the Seahawks want that to happen. So,
may I interrupt for 2 seconds here?
Sure.
Their total cap space as of right now, as we're recording on May 18th, is $31.73 million.
Okay.
So if you do what you want with those numbers, but
okay. So if you take 25 mil of that and you add it to his 15, that's 40 mil. Right?
he's not getting 40.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to get 40 million. I think he's reported that he wants 30 million.
Okay.
Well, that's even better then.
30, yeah.
Holy mackerel.
If 30 gets it done,
let's get this going right now.
The Bengals pay their 15, and then we chip in 15. I just did the we thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks chip in 15. I could see how that gets done.
I would do this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about the schedule in a second.
We are going to get to that.
Yeah,
we will.
Okay.
Shut up, everyone out there listening
to the show. 53.
Shut up. Anyway, they have not had, Seattle, a predominant pass rush since their Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
Since the last time they were in the Super Bowl.
Which is a sad statement, seeing as how this was the Legion of Boom at one time.
Yes.
You can't have
Yes.
you can't have a team that was a Legion of Boom and all of a sudden absolutely no boom.
Because rotationally speaking, Jaren Reed your nose tackle, Leonard Williams can be your D tackle, and then Hendrickson's your D end.
That would be ridiculous.
That'd be insane.
Leonard Williams, man, what an acquisition that was, man.
So I'm with you, a first and 2/3 if the Bengals are willing to trade him. Which, by the way, those negotiations are going, it's gonna happen. The question here is when.
Yes, the question is on the side of the Bengals to me, though. If you trade him and get nothing but draft picks in return, you know your defense is it's I can't even come up with a word. That's how awful it is.
It was terrible.
Well, terrible. You know, there's terrible. I think maybe awful is worse than terrible. I'm not too sure of my adjectives that I'm doing. But if they don't have him, then it's absolutely god awful.
Yeah.
Okay. And they couldn't win when it was just awful.
Yeah.
So how are you going to win if it's god awful?
Yeah. That's,
so maybe they'll look at a team that can trade them some defense in return. I don't know. But
it's I don't know. But,
I mean, quick, and I feel like I keep throwing wrenches, but what is the Bengals' current cap situation? Because
give me a second.
I think the reason that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase got extended is because Burrow was in ownership's ear,
right?
Because Mike Brown is cheap. He is cheap.
So
I'm sorry,
cheap.
I'm just gonna say it. He's cheap. And I think the only reason those deals got done is because Burrow was basically like, hey, we need these guys. But do you think Burrow gets in Brown's ear again and says, hey, we got to hang on to our one defensive piece?
I'm surprised that he has not done that.
Yeah.
27 million, by the way. The Bengals at 27 million in cap space.
Okay.
Okay, so they're not hurting.
No, they're not.
Necessarily. So, yeah.
No, they're not.
That just I'm confused now because why are the Bengals not getting this done? I don't get this. If he's getting 15 already, and that's part of your budget already, and you got 27 million, give him another 15 and get it done.
Yeah,
get it done.
Get it done. Otherwise, you're wasting Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah,
this guy could pass for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you're going to waste that because you've got no defense? Makes no sense, whatever.
Well, and it's also the one critique, and I've been vocal about it on whatever podcast I'm on, but the one critique that you could level at Joe Burrow in his time with the Bengals, they always start slow. So offensively, so you're going to need a defense of some kind to hopefully buffer that damage until they warm up.
Right.
They warm it up.
And if you get rid of Hendrickson, then you've got no defense.
Yeah, you've got nothing.
They did draft Shamar Stewart in the first round this past season, but like for what? Maybe because they know this is coming. They know the trade is coming.
Yeah, maybe Mike Brown has already made his decision.
Okay, well,
he's made his decision 6 feet under.
Let's get it done.
Sorry. Just for God's sakes. I mean, Bengals fans are in agreement with the Cowboy fan base because, like, we just want our owners to die. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Boy, we will finally we'll get to the schedule.
All right, we are
after this break. This show ain't free, so time for some ads.
Adventure doesn't wait, so why should you? Meet the Commodore, our homage watch to the classic GMT watch, engineered for explorers who never stay in one place. Crafted with Swiss precision, 20 ATM water resistance, and a scratch-resistant sapphire crystal, it's built to thrive on every journey, whether by land, sea, or air. Durable, dependable, and designed to fit, the Commodore is ready for every horizon.
There we go. Use the promo code time to number 2 BS for 20% off your order at La-Touraine.com for some sick sweet deals on their website and some nice watches. Highly recommend. So, we have approached the so-called main event of the show and the
That's
whole
right.
reason why we did this thing in the first place.
Meat of the
Jesus.
This is the meat of the show
Meat.
right here.
Oh, some good old brisket. Anyway, before we go off track,
man.
the
Yeah, I'm from
Seahawks
Texas, so
2025.
meat must be involved. So
Kevin, you're in Texas, for God's sakes. Bring us some brisket. Anyway, so the Seahawks 2025 schedule has been released, and we have it right here. Bam! So we have.
Man.
Thank you, technology.
Okay.
September 7th. This is all Pacific time, by the way, for those confused. San Francisco at home, then at Pittsburgh, home against New Orleans, at Arizona on Thursday Night Football. Then home against Tampa Bay, at Jacksonville, home against Houston, bye week at Washington. Then home against Arizona, at the Rams, at Tennessee. Home against Minnesota in Sam Darnold's revenge game. At Atlanta, home against the Colts. At home against the Rams, and then at Carolina and San Francisco to close out the year. So, right out of the gate, I noticed they have a lot of back and forth, home away, home away, home away, home away. It's not consistent until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at just the opponents, I think they split the Niners. I think they have a tough out in Washington.
Yeah, Washington's going to be tough.
They split the Rams. They sweep the Cardinals because, let's be honest here, the Cardinals suck. And then everyone else, with the lone exception of Minnesota, is going to be gravy. And maybe Tampa.
Yeah, I was going to throw the Bucks in there. I was going to say the Bucks will be sneaky. You can't discount the Bucks.
Correct. So I will offer this proposal to you guys, and I will say 12-5. That's my ceiling.
That's a little, to me, I would be absolutely just giddy if they go 12-5, but
Yeah.
I think that's a little optimistic.
I tend to do these things.
I'm with Kevin. I think 11-6, possibly 10 wins again. As much as I hate to say it, because there's a lot of changes. Sam Darnold, we don't know what he's going to be yet.
No idea.
And I still have the fear in the back of my mind that Sam Darnold, we have more data to support the previous version of Sam Darnold than the version that we got in Minnesota last year. And how much of that is attributed to Kevin O'Connell and his amazing seemingly ability with quarterbacks and to rehabilitate them up there in Minnesota. But there are winnable games on this schedule.
Very winnable.
I mean, you look at I'm with you. I think in that first quarter of the season is coming out. The Saints is a win as of right now. The Steelers, a win. Defensively, that could be a battle, but the Steelers, we don't know who they have at quarterback. And if they sign Aaron Rodgers, I hope we sack them a bunch.
Good luck.
But I think the first stumbling block could potentially be that October 5th game against the Bucks. The Bucks, Todd Bowles always comes up with a great defensive game plan. Baker is a gamer. I love Baker Mayfield and the way that he approaches the game. And Mike Evans, he's getting older, but the Bucks, they still have because
they drafted that kid from Ohio State in the first round.
They did. And Godwin is going to be coming back healthy. You would think so.
You would think so.
But yeah, I think that first quarter of the season, because the Jags, I don't think that's going to be a problem. The Texans is the first place I see another potential stumbling block right before the bye.
I'm going to be a hot take machine here.
All right.
I think they start before the bye week. I think they start 6-1.
I could see it.
because
could see it. Who's the one loss you have in there?
Tampa.
Okay. Yep.
Tampa would be the only loss, but it'd be like a very close one. They could very well be 6-1 before the bye week, and then at Washington, that's a hard one.
Yeah,
if they
that's
beat
gonna be
Washington,
tough.
they'll be like, okay, you're for real.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, they're done, and then the Rams are tricky.
See, but here's the thing. I think, and I don't know if you agree with me here, Kevin, but I think the Cardinals, we can't sweep them aside.
No.
Yes, they made some baffling decisions with as far as getting Marvin Harrison the ball. I'll never forget Kyler Murray last year. He goes, "It's not my job to get you the ball. It is your job to get him the ball, Kyler." But Kyler is he's talented. He can move around. You need a pass rush to hope to contain him. And you have to think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a better year than he did last year. And every year I dismiss James Conner, and he keeps proving me wrong.
Don't do that.
I will do that. I will not do that again this year.
No,
and I say this, that Jonathan Gannon, I think he's a good coach, and the Cardinals play hard for him. So I feel like we could easily drop one against the Cardinals. I just got to figure out where it is.
It might be in error. It might be at home because they, for some reason, I don't know what it is about the Cardinals playing in Seattle. They always play us tough. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
no idea what it is.
They play him pretty tough wherever, and so that's a caution to me. And one of them's a Thursday game, and so I'll be able to watch it because I do have Prime. So we're good there. And there's another Thursday night game against the Rams, also on Prime. So that'll be interesting. And,
the one at home, I think the back-to-back home games between the Colts and the Rams might be beneficial for them.
I mean the Colts, geez.
The Colts are just there.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be ironic if Daniel Jones goes up there, beats Anthony Richardson out for the starting job? Like I don't. But
that would cause people to have coronaries. You need to have the EMT standing by if that's what winds up happening.
But the thing is, and I interrupted your point, but the Rams are tricky. To me, as much as I hate to admit this, as the teams are presently constructed,
it's the Rams division to lose.
It is. I give the NFC West preliminarily to the Rams. That Devontae Adams signing, I think it was a good signing.
It was
a really good signing. And I hope Cooper Kupp shows out for the Rams in this game.
I hope so too. And the schedule to me is that first game.
I'm so pumped for that game.
And that's the reason why it's so critical to me. Because it's against your most hated. We could talk about the Rams and the Cardinals, and they're hated, of course, but they're not hated to the level of the 49ers.
Yeah.
No.
And so you've got the 49ers. You've got them at home. You're going to have everybody behind you. The place is going to be electric. And so we're going to find out right off the bat if these changes are working or not. In that very first game, they've got to come out and win that game. That sets them up for positive down the road. But if they lose that game, all that positive, good feelings goes right out in the dumpster. And they start questioning themselves, and things could spiral from there. So they've got to play well in that first game and win that game and set themselves up for success later. That's the way I'm looking at it.
From Tennessee to the Panthers, from going forward, I think from week 17, from the Titans game in Tennessee in Nashville, and then over to Carolina in week 17, I think they might go on a run. But again, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because we're in May still. We're in May. And a lot can change in 4 months.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Some of these changes might be revealed as not being the ones that are beneficial. Yeah. If they are, I see runs possible. But stand by for that.
one thing we can probably confirm is that the defense will be better.
Right. And
the defense will be better.
The defense will be better. And it wasn't, they were 14th, as I pointed out the last time we did this show. And so all they have to do is do a little better and they move into the top 10.
Yeah. Which I think is doable even as presently constructed, because I do like the signing, the free agency signing from the Cowboys, Lawrence there.
Marcus Lawrence, yeah.
I think he could do something. I mean, now if Trey Hendrickson comes to town,
if the Hendrickson trade happens, good luck.
And Lawrence can talk smack like just about nobody else, but he's got to be able to back that up.
Yeah, I hope he does. I hope
so
here.
too.
But
because he absolutely torched any bridges that were available to him in the Dallas area when he left town. So
yeah, I saw that. But I think I wonder if both of you agree with me, but I think the Seahawks defense finishes in the top 10 this year. I think they crack it.
Yes.
If they want to have any shot of winning the division, that needs to happen.
I think the offense needs to happen more than the defense.
Yeah.
Right, because I think the offense could be just, a little, it's going to take time to mix everything and get your batter straightened out and get it on in the stove and the oven, whatever. And so the defense might need to, pull their weight just a little bit. And if they do that, and the offense, the changes are positive ones, then you may not be too optimistic with 12 wins.
No.
If all of that happens, that's a big if to me. So
correct.
I'm going to stay. If they win 10, then I'll be, okay. Not joyous, okay.
Yeah.
But okay.
They'll be nice. They'll be nice regardless. Boy. Anyone got some final thoughts before we close up shop for the day?
Oh, I just want to add up, because we don't usually care about preseason, but their first preseason game is against Pete Carroll.
Raiders.
Yeah.
So if that would be interesting, because it's going to be in Seattle, so he'll be walking the sideline. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of reception.
He'll get a great one.
What'd you guys think of the Pete Carroll's response to like how everything went down? Actually, we do have one more thing before final thoughts. So there was Pete Carroll was on Seattle Sports Radio.
Yep, he was on Brock and Salt,
ESPN 710, and he pretty much said I wanted to give John Schneider the chance to be the GM. So you pretty much admitted to the fact that you were in control the entirety of the time in Seattle.
Oh yeah, he said he had final.
He pretty much admitted to it
right there. Yeah.
Well, if you're a Super Bowl winning coach, and that helps your voice in draft day or wherever else you are, hey, I got a Super Bowl trophy. So
if
you might want to listen.
I'm rooting for Pete for the Raiders.
I am too, and that's a weird place to be, because I'd just about ready to smash my car into a side of the road and to be a Raiders, supporter. Because I'm still one of those guys when they were in the same division.
Yes, when they were in the AFC, I hated the Raiders. Yeah.
I hate the Raiders. I didn't hate the other teams like
83,
Denver.
1983 AFC title game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Steve Largent's last season.
And so, I didn't hate the Broncos or the Chiefs or the Chargers to the level of the Raiders. And since they're not in that division, they've taken a slight dip. The 49ers are way up here now. But Pete Carroll's a coach, just a guy in general that you have to like. And unless you're, certain coach of the Chargers, but other than him, and I saw this where they were talking to, I can't believe his name, the Washington head coach.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, and he was asked about Pete Carroll, and they were talking about how he had his last class at USC. His students were pretty much in tears because that was his last class with them, and so that's the effect that he has on people. And so, how can you not like somebody like that? And since they're in another division, another conference now, okay, Raiders.
The Raiders may surprise people. You never know.
They may. And I was going to say regarding my final thought was going to be, and it's related to Pete Carroll somewhat. I think there's going to be a contingent of Seahawks fans, especially if the Raiders come out and surprise some people early. They're going to go, oh, you know what? Geno wasn't that bad. And, I think especially if Darnold stumbles out of the gate early and the new offense takes some time to get moving, like you were saying, Kevin, there's going to be some Seahawks fans that are going, oh, I guess I was wrong, because Seahawks fans wanted Geno gone.
They did, and
almost from the moment he took over. There's a contingent of fans that wanted him out from the moment he took over for Russ.
Right. And even though he, he's had 2 good seasons, right? 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, but I was not one of the ones that, I remember we talked about this on this very program, that I was not in advocating that Geno Smith go away. And, of course, they did it anyway. I would have been totally fine if Geno Smith was still their quarterback.
Correct. We do need to also address the I texted you guys this in the group chat about the fair weather fans package that the Seahawks are doing with the whole like reselling season tickets.
Ah, yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
That really surprises me that was going on.
That doesn't surprise that shocked me, the fact that it happened, but I am ecstatic the fact the team did that. Ecstatic they did that. Because Dustin, it was the second show we did about the Packers game.
Yes. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. Like there were so many Packer fans in there.
Yeah, you cannot, the Chargers and the Rams is a whole different scenario. You cannot have that.
No.
As the whole thing was about you were battling Kansas City for the loudest stadium in the NFL. Now all of a sudden half your fans are the other team's fans.
Yeah.
That
correct
cannot be allowed.
Not at all. Not at all. But we do need to close up shop for the day. But regardless, you can find Kevin's Twitter at Kevin62WillC. You can find his articles at bellyofsports.com. Dustin, you can find him on Twitter at Eldoso67 and also on No Credentials Required. Follow their show for, various forms of nonsense. Friends
Not
of the
just
show.
Follow it, watch it. How about that?
Watch it too. Watch it too. They have streams going on.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
The cred heads are strong.
The cred heads are strong. You are one, sir. You are. You classify yourself as many things. You are a friend of the show. You are a contributor to the show. You are a cred head, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right.
Likewise, my friend, as well. So you can find me on Twitter at Staniel Smooth and at Instagram at Staniel Smooth. You find the podcast at Time to BS Podcast. Clips of the show you can find at Staniel Smooth on TikTok and on the official Time to BS YouTube page. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kevin Wilson. That's Dustin Henry. I am Staniel Smooth. I'm coming to you from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York. And we'll see you guys in this life and most certainly the next one. Cheers.